Hello everyone, it's me again, GW Fan the Softcore Brony, welcoming you back to Let's Play My Little Pony RPG 4. Let us continue through the Everfree Forest 2, which is actually even shorter and more simple than even the previous area. So let's see, right from the get-go, let's go this a ways. Man, the enemies are really easy now. Let's see, I think... Oh, wait, no, there's one more. Never mind. Hey! Yeah, Hey is back as well. This is even better MP healing, which is actually even more precious. We're not going to find many of these in the early parts of the game, so that one is quite precious. Alrighty, that's... Yeah, not a whole lot in the way of deviating paths on this one at all. We do kind of have a bit of a winding path, but not too bad. And I want to go over this way first. One treasure left, I was going to say. 250 bits. Not bad at all. I'm going to be needing that money soon. This area, there's also not much of anything to. It's a little wide open, but there isn't really anything to find for the most part. Alright, yeah, already level 6. Pretty much where I want to be. We can very easily take on these guys now. At least in this dungeon, anyway. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, there's not much around for the most part. But, as you see this rope right here, we come up and around a long ways to get a treasure. Way over here. There we go. Apple pie, another one of those. Very good. Not that I'll be using it anytime soon, but it's there. Let's see. Oh, we got the upper hand for once. That's actually kind of on the rare side, purely because the, well, upper hook maybe would be more appropriate. I don't know. But yeah, the upper hand deal, that preemptive attack. Wow, Twilight, you went first. Yeah, it's a preemptive strike there, and it's also based on party speed versus enemy speed and whatnot, so it tends to be kind of on the rare side. Let's see, nothing over... Let's see, there isn't anything over that way, right? No, there is not. There is something over this way, though. Lots of treasures. Red apple. 150 bits, need that. Red apple and oats. Alright. Oddly enough, this is nothing. You kind of think it was something, but it's not. Yeah, the rest of the dungeon, very, very straightforward there. Oh, wow, we actually got the upper hand again. I'm shocked. How about that? Although these guys are dirt easy now. Yeah, no deviating paths at all, other than very obvious ones. Blueberries, never use them, but they're there. Yeah, now we're too strong to even care what we target. See, yeah, nothing over there, and we are out of there. Now, technically, I could go back to Ponyville right now, but I want to show something first here in the sealed gate. Actually, I'll do two things, in fact. Well, actually, no, I'll save that one. Let's just read this, even though I don't have to. It's not necessary for what it actually is about. Oh. Okay. Yeah, we don't need to read that in order to find that very shiny thing. In fact, I think you just have to go out the exit for the second area of Everfree Forest for it to appear. So anyway, yeah, we want to go back to Ponyville. And how much money do I have right now? Eh, not bad, not bad. Yes! Yeah, we always appear way up here on the north side. And before I do anything else, before we're going back to Twilight's house, I actually want to go down to the... There we go, the perk shop. Because I have enough money to buy something that I want. Only one, unfortunately. I mean, I could buy some magic, like the wizard one, but I don't care. So I'm just going to buy the warrior 1 for the time being. I'll be getting more later on, and because Rainbow Dash is the fastest character and, well, typically goes first, I'm giving that to her right off the bat. Very nice. I'll finally be discussing what every pony kind of excels at, etc. now. For particular reasons, if I can get up the dang stairs. Hey, Spike! Okay, I won't. Yeah, nothing ever happens around here. Except everything, because Ponyville. But anyway, this new treasure chest has appeared. Crystarium was found! I don't know how we found that in a treasure chest, but we did. Oh, how convenient! It's like an instruction manual. Really? From the book? Well, I guess. Magical book! Yay! Elemency! Yeah, we probably couldn't do anything with that. And the Crystarium, both of which are very, very important to, well, I suppose the most strategical factor of this game. That does not include enemies back in the Everfree Forest, I might add. They will never drop magic shards. Ah, yes. This is how we learn skills from 5 different elements: fire, ice, thunder, recovery, and unique. Oh, right. Crystal colors. Okay. Yeah, that was a suggestion of mine. I didn't know he added that to the instructions, though. Yeah, because before... Well, you'll see what I mean in a moment. Oh, yeah, and yellow are scales, but you'll see what I mean in a moment. Yeah, every pony shares the same experience pool, so we have to kind of decide between all 6 characters what skills we want. Oh, yes, they can be a little pricey. But I have a very particular set of skills. Not used to, find people and hurt them, but to the skills that, well, I guess in a certain light maybe, but, yeah, but skills that I definitely want to prioritize over others. And yes, back there it said we can only hold up to 150 of any particular element. Technically, you actually can get higher, up to, like, 200, but if you try to go above 200, it'll just shoot back down to 150, and if you try to leave Crystarium, or actually I think any room, with more than 150, it'll automatically go back down to 150, so just keep that in mind, and try not to exceed 150 ever. Also, well, I can't see it here, but yeah, we're going to have the various magic shards are going to appear over in this menu over here in the items. And these will only go up to 99, those ones. So if you're getting close to that, or hit 99, make sure you use Elemency, which, well, I can't do much with now. But yeah, make sure you use Elemency, which, yeah, I'll be able to go over a little bit more later. But basically, yeah, these are the 5 elements. And these are different numbers that you can turn them into experience points, because we actually have to do these from the menu, but I'll go over that more whenever we actually get them. For the time being, though, I do have... Oh, actually, let's actually go to Crystarium first. I'll talk about that later. We have one for each of the 6 characters there. And let's go to Twilight's first. Yeah, going over what I was saying where I suggested different colors. Every last one of these for Twilight used to be green, and it was so hard to remember what was where for the most part. But yeah, the red ones, these are attack magic, all there in the front row for her. This is well, actually this row is all, these are all supports, or no, these ones are healing. These ones are all self skills here. The purple ones there. This Twilight's is the biggest out of every pony. And yeah, there's another support one there. She doesn't have any of the yellow skills, and she also has one back there behind this door. I actually am not entirely certain what's behind there. I'm going to guess, though, that if it's not the flare spell, then I have no idea. But in any case, yeah, we have Twilight fulfilling basically the same role she did in the first game, being the all-out magic user, although this time she does not get status effects or the death spells for that matter. There's no death spells at all as far as I'm aware. At least for the main characters here. Twilight gets the basic elements of fire, ice, and lightning there, which I will eventually prioritize. Yeah, fire, basic fire spell, cost 10 fire. Now, these other ones, this is Fyra and Fyraga, the stronger fire spells, but we can't just try to acquire these, because the way this works is we need to get a weaker version of that spell, in this case the fire spell, for the 10 fire experience points, and then we'll be able to get Fyra, and once we get Fyra, we'll be able to have access to the Fyraga crystal, although these are not going to cost 10, they're actually 40 and 150 respectively, so yeah, that's a very good limitation there. This crystal, I'm not sure what the heck is the point of this crystal. It doesn't do anything. It activates whenever you activate this crystal, which is the cure spell. Because Twilight does get a couple of cure spells, like basic cure, and I think this one's Cura, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't really worry about that with Twilight, for the most part there. Yeah, otherwise she gets... Oh, this is a self-spell right here. Yeah, the self-cure and also self-curaga is right next to it. I don't use the self-spells very often at all. Even self-curaga. And especially not self-cure or frankly, the cure spell, because the cure spell sucks in this game. It heals so low. You're actually better off using red apples, which... well, for a long time, it's going to heal more than the basic cure spell. That's how bad it is. So I don't even care about the basic cure spell right off the bat, even for, well, the dedicated healer of the game, which will be rarity, but more on that in a moment here. Yeah, we have a variety of, well, other self-skills here that are buffs. Twilight gets, Self-Faith and Self-Faith-Ra. I don't really care about staff buffs much for at least the early game, because our stats in the status here, yeah, these need to get to upwards of like somewhere between 200 and 300 before buffs really start to make any kind of notable difference. I mean, they do make a difference even now, but it's very, very small for the cost, because they are pretty expensive for the most part. And especially for Twilight, I would rather use her magic for just pure offense than have her try to buff her own magic for a few turns. I think up to like 6 or something like that, and whatnot. Some spells like this one are really expensive. I do not prioritize those for quite some time. I'm not going to go over what every last thing here is. Yeah, we got like protect spells and shell spells. I actually don't ever use defense up spells for the most part, either physical or magical, just because of the way the game works. And then we also have some status recovery, Poisona, which heals poison. I don't ever use this either, because poison is very seldomly a problem since we're healed after every single battle. There's not a whole lot of bosses, at least early on anyway, that use the poison status either. In any case, for Twilight, she is one of the characters who I'm going to be prioritizing magic for, and right off the bat, I did not know this the very first time I played the game, but this Rainbow Shard will give us 10 experience points to all of our elements there, which fortunately is shown handy-dandy up there in the corner, at least as long as you're in Crystarium. If you're not in Crystarium, we can use the magic check, which will just, yeah, tell us there, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Not Ren 10, 10, but that's something else entirely. Which, crazy enough, Japan actually had it made a freaking OVA out of. How about that? Anyway, there's 2 spells I want to get for Twilight right now. The Fire Spell, because that will be very useful in the next dungeon, and I don't actually have to get it right now, but I'm also going to get the Blizzard Spell, or Ice Spell, because that will be useful in the very near future, though not so much in the next dungeon. And otherwise, I'm going to leave Lightning for the time being. I'm not going to be getting that one for a while, because I have another spell in mind that I want to prioritize first that costs Lightning Elemental Magic. See, we got Pinkie Pie's Crystarium, although she actually learns most of her skills through level ups, and is well, pretty much identical to the way she was in the first game, where her skills, yeah, she's going to get her MP up through Charge, and later Charge 2, which heals 3 MP. It's actually gets it pretty darn early. I think like at like level 20 or so. And as far as her Crystarium goes, you're not really going to be getting much here for quite some time. I don't find most of her skills to be that great, except for Esunata, which heals stat debuffs on party members, and Dispel, which heals buffs on monsters. And other than that, we have, let's see, what else do we have? We have Self-Shelra, and I think Self-Protectra is the other one up there, but I don't care about either one. Oh, maybe not. I forget what that one is. Oh, wait, no. Oh, wait, never mind. There's Self-Protectra. I know what that one up there is, then. That one... This is Self-Curaga. She actually doesn't have a basic Self-Cure spell. Eventually, actually, relatively soon, but I think at, like, level, like, somewhere before level 15, Pinky is going to learn the Cupcakes spell, which is a multi-target healing ability, and then the Self-Curaga will become available there, and then that down there, Song of Life, it basically just revives the whole party if any pony's down. I don't ever, use that, though. Yeah, I want to prioritize Dispel, which costs way too much, and Esunata eventually, but not right now. Later. Let's see, Dash. Dash has, well, at least one particularly important spell. She gets all the, like I said last time, she gets all this speed boosting and also speed decreasing spells of the game, although I don't really tend to use them much, because, well, there never has been a multi-target speed boosting skill in, I think, any of the My Little Pony RPG games. So, even though that could be useful for, like, the dedicated healer, I don't really ever find reason to do so. So, I'm not going to worry about it, especially since I would rather have Rainbow Dash do other things. Let's see, we also have a couple of physical skills for Dash, who, oh yeah, also, by the way, is more or less the same way as she was in the first game, except a bit slower, unfortunately. She is not guaranteed to go first, even as we get to higher levels. So yeah, we got, like, Big Kick, and this one, I forget what that one's called. It's the other Big Kick ability. Basically, it's the same thing as her physical attack, except it can do stun. And I don't care because it seems to like it misses more often than her regular physical attack, so I don't ever use it. Applejack also is going to get like the bigger version of the Big Kick, access to that right at the bat. And more importantly, we have the Arrow and Eroga spell. I want to prioritize Arrow right off the bat, even though it seems like it's a magic spell. It's oddly enough a physical skill that even can get critical hits and hits all enemies. Yeah, the Arrow, Thunder, and Unique there. That's why I want to save my Thunder and eventually my Unique, and, well, my Unique as well, though I'm going to be using my Unique right now. But yeah, Eroga, oddly enough, is exactly the same thing as Arrow, except that it can't miss, unlike Arrow, which can. And this also costs a lot more, so I don't really care about the don't miss ones so much. This is typically good enough, especially since it only costs 30 MP, so it's quite cost efficient for random encounters. Yeah, she also gets Self-Null Magic, which is way more expensive than Twilight's, and I'm not going to be prioritizing that anytime soon. Then she gets a bunch of Self abilities, including Self-Cure, which is useless on her because her magic stat is so bad, and she doesn't get Self-Curaga, so I just flat out don't care. And almost every pony gets, like, Self-Protect and Self-Shell, but again, I don't really use those at all because, especially early on, they don't really have much of an effect there. And we got Self-Bravery. At the moment, I do not care about Self-Bravery. I actually would rather have pony else just cast it on them instead, but Self-Bravery right now only lasts for 2 turns after you cast it, so it sucks horribly. I forget how much it costs even, but I think it's like 50 MP or 35 MP or something that I don't care about. But yeah, I want to prioritize Arrow first things first there. And let's see, Applejack. Applejack doesn't have a whole lot of spells to choose from, although notably she does get elemental spells, elemental physical skills. She'll be able to turn her physical attack into an element of fire, ice, and lightning here, respectively, for only 35 of any given element, although I don't prioritize this early on, even though there's several bosses that have elemental weaknesses, but it's not a huge deal. These actually do cost 50 MP, and they also do give a slight attack boost, but not as much as like her self-bravery, which I think is this one. Yeah, this one. Although, again, I don't like the way self-bravery works right now, so I don't care. And then super kick. That was the other one after big kick. But again, it's not stronger than the regular physical attack. And all it does is stun, which, especially for Applejack, doesn't work too well, because stun, it can heal both at the end of an entire round, and also after an enemy takes an action, or like when an enemy wants to take an action. So 2 chances. Applejack is slow and is going to almost guaranteed to go last. There's a really good chance that enemies are going to recover by the time their next turn comes around anyway, so I don't care. What I do care about, though, is the Quake Stomp, which is a lot like Dash's Arrow. It's Earth Elemental, all enemies. It is a lot more expensive, though, at 75 MP, so I'm not going to be prioritizing that too soon, but I will want it eventually as the, well, first and practically only spell I really care about with Applejack, other than, like, maybe getting these at some point, although they're not a high priority. Let's see. Rarity! I would like to take the moment to say that of the 5 elements, recovery is by far the most frequent one you will use, with unique as a kind of a distant second, although much higher than the other 3 elements there. And that is almost entirely because of rarity, because a huge number of her abilities are recovery based in some manner or another, because she is the dedicated healer of the party. I should mention also Applejack obviously is kind of the slow tank physical fighter, but yeah, that's kind of self-explanatory there. But yeah, Rarity also, well, actually, yeah, she is pretty much the same as she was. Yeah, she gets all of her healing spells over here. Unlike Twilight, she can go beyond Kira and Kira to Kiraga and Kiraja, although, crazy enough, Kira is the only multi-target healing spell she gets, which, well, it's there. And then all of her self-skills are up here, but I don't care about any of them, even though I think, see, Self-Cure and Self-Curaga are right up here. I might get Self-Curaga at some point, especially since, like, Self-Cure isn't very expensive, but Self-Curaga is, like, 42 recovery points there, and yeah, Cure, only 10, so I could get that right now, but the Cure spell, like I said, sucks, even though Cure is really good, but that costs a whopping 40 recovery. I don't need that right now. I'm actually going to be prioritizing something else. And we've also got, like, Poisana and Vox, which heal the poison status and silence status, respectively, but I don't really ever need those. And we also have Asuna, which I would actually rather get, even though it's more expensive. But I'm not going to be prioritizing that right away. We have Raise and Rise, which are, I'm also, actually don't prioritize very early on, but I will want these before one particular boss fight. That is really annoying, because the boss can pretty much one-shot any character. And then these are all buffs over here. We've got, I think, yeah, like Protect, Shell, Bravery, and then the higher versions, Protectra, Shellra, and Bravera. Again, I don't get these right off the bat because we kind of need our stats to be higher before I actually care. Although, notably, Protectra and Shellra actually hit all party members, so there is that. And what is this one? I don't remember what that one is off the bat, but yeah, that down there, that's actually a offensive spell that we'll get later. What I want right now, though, is the Dia spell, which costs recovery and 5 unique, or 10 recovery and 5 unique there. This is a single target offensive holy elemental spell. It's good for Rarity to actually do some decent damage. I will want to get Dialga at some point. It costs a whopping 50 fire and 50 ice, weirdly enough. But I will want that before I go into one particular dungeon later on. And I will be getting, like, Cure and Cura eventually, just not, I don't need it for, like, the first couple of dungeons, just because of the way it works. And then we got Fluttershy. Fluttershy is not the same as she was in the first game. She is not a summoner. She doesn't have, like, any, like, real offensive, actually, she doesn't learn any offensive skills at all. She is pure support this time around, and also the one who uses status effects, which means she well, we're not going to really be using these much. Unfortunately, because unfortunately there's no multi-target version of status effects this time around, and these actually can be pretty useful. Poison, blind, actually I think it's fog, not silence. Yeah, fog, confusion, sleep, and also the stop spell, which is this run right here. They all can be useful early on, but not so much whenever a bit later, whenever I'm prioritizing more offense than, well, status, especially against the random encounters. And even bosses, they do have weaknesses to status effects, but as the game progresses, obviously it's less and less and less. These are her self skills. We do not need to get self-cure to get Fluttershy's self-curaga. She actually is going to learn 3 skills through level ups, and the first one she learns is going to allow her to learn self-curaga if you really want it, though I'm not going to prioritize it anytime soon. We also have self-esunada. Applejack is also the only other character that gets self-esunada, which heals debuffs. I actually will want to get that for Applejack eventually, but Fluttershy I don't really care. Fluttershy's role is kind of just to live and be the kind of backup what have you in any given situation. So yeah, Self-Poisana. I don't think she gets Self-Asuna. Self-Asuna is kind of weird because the only thing it really can heal is poison and blind. So yeah, you're basically incapacitated for anything else. Oh yeah, we're self-regen. Some characters get that, but I don't especially care about that. I don't think it lasts long enough for me to care. And the other big thing is we get like Bar Fire, Bar Ice, and Bar Thunder, and also the Bar All for Fluttershy there. Although I'm not especially concerned about that because there's perks that do the exact same thing. So, and it's only single target, and there's 6 characters. You're basically only gonna want to get it on like Rarity and maybe Twilight because they're at low HP. I don't get most of the skills that Fluttershy has, like ever practically. I prioritize many other things, but for the time being, I've got what I want, which is Fire and Ice for Twilight and Dia for Rarity. As we go on to the Sealed Gate next time. Oh yeah, and also my perk for Rainbow Dash. Yeah, as we go into the Sealed Gate next time on Let's Play My Little Pony RPG 4. No subtitle. I almost forgot there's no subtitle for this one. I wanted to say something else, but it's like, oh wait, there is nothing else to say. Arrivederci!